Okay, so seems like we're live. Let me know if you guys could hear me. If yes, then awesome. So welcome to the live stream, everyone. Um, and I'll be excited to, announce that we're going to be doing this amazing Next.js introduction session. So all of you who are in the stream, I believe we just have one concurrent viewer. So I'm just going to go into my browser and go to community.codecademy.com and just add and send an email to all those people who have RSVP'd on the Discord server and the other places. And I want you guys to just let me know your thoughts of React, what you know about React, and what do you think. This is actually a beginner-friendly event, so don't worry if you don't know anything about Next.js. This event is, brought to you by Codecademy, so you can see that there is a live event happening right now. So you go here to the Codecademy Discord server, and this is the page where the event is. So, we didn't have that much RSVPs, but that's okay. Um, I'm gonna here send email to everyone so that they could just log in. So I'm going to the emails and I'm gonna create a new email as usual. Audience is my people with the virtual event ticket, people with virtual event ticket. The event is this one. We are live now and just send in the general link, which is this one. I can hear you. Perfect. Thanks, Caesar. Welcome back. I remember you were in one other stream before, so we have some old viewers, but looking for more people. So, we are now live. Okay, I just gotta switch this now first and then change it to live. What do you know, Caesar? What are your thoughts on Next.js? Any idea what that is? Just let me know if you have an idea. Okay, there you go. We're sent that, and now we could move on to the Next.js website. So Next.js, just Google it first. And this is Next.js. It's an open source web development framework created by the private company Vercel, providing React-based web applications with server-side rendering and static website generation. Okay, if we go to the website, which is nextjs.org, you can see this is the React framework for the web. Now, this is very popular these days, and a lot of companies are shifting towards Next.js because of its increasing need and easiness and usability. So if I go to the docs over here, you could actually, understand what is the thing. It just gives you the picture of it. One of the main features, routing, rendering, data fetching, styling, optimizations, and TypeScript. So these are some of the features, and I'm going to be discussing, all the introductory parts of this. So just waiting until, we get some messages. It's a framework of React. It's more advanced and more simple to do full stack apps. Correct. That is absolutely correct. So, we know MERN stack development, but the problem with MERN stack development is that if you, create, you actually have to create two folders. One is the server folder and one is the client folder. In the client folder, you have all of your front end files, and in the server folder, you have all your backend. Next.js doesn't even allow you to do a server folder at all. It doesn't even require you to do a server at all. You have serverless APIs, so it's all built in one entire a single framework, and it's really cool. There's so many other features like it's almost like React, but it's just faster, better, and just way easier. One thing I wanted to show you is that there's this thing that what happened was they shifted um, a complete React application to a Next.js. And what happened was the same application resulted in removing 20,000 lines of code. So, less number of lines of code, and you had to remove 30 plus dependencies. Now, MERNstack is awesome. It's so cool. I don't, discourage people not using it, but, Next.js just allows you to be more faster and better by, reducing these dependencies, these libraries that you need to install in your MERN application. So lesser amount of libraries and lesser amount of codes means faster applications. So that's Next.js for you. One cool feature about Next.js, and I want to cover out some of the amazing features that Next.js offers. And the purpose of this, this event is actually gonna be, we're gonna be building a modern full stack Next.js app. Hopefully within this series, of course not everything will be covered in this video, but hopefully, we have more events, and then, we could talk about the application as well. But let's just give a let's see how much we could go over. So in an hour. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new folder here. I'm going to say it's share prompts. So underscore PROMPTS. Now I forgot the S. Let me just go function F2. Okay, now I just forgot keys. Function and F2. Oh, I think it's just F2 simple. Okay, now I don't know, it's bugging. I think it's I thought it was function key F2. Yeah, function key F2, and then that's how you could rename a file and just put S over here. Now we want to open up this in Visual Studio Code. I have a lot of other things that are going on, so I'm just going to remove that. And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to CMD, and I'm going to go code and dot. Okay. Now this is our new developer environment. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create my project. But before all of that, I want to, tell you some of the amazing features that Next.js offers. So let's see if we have auto draw. It's for Vercel. Yeah, Vercel was the company that created Next.js. So Vercel is an amazing platform where you could host your applications for free, and it's amazing. So saw my other project that I've done, I hosted on Vercel. So autodraw.com. See if this is the website. Start drawing. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about what are the primary features. Primary features. So primary. Now, sorry about the writing, but I'm gonna have to do this thing fast. Features. Okay, one of the biggest features of Next.js is that, the rendering. RENDERING. Now, what is rendering? Remember, like when we create an application and we have these components, remember? Whenever we create an application, if I just open up my old MERN-stack applications, you'll see that I don't need to open up, but there's initially, whatever the MERN stack are, they're all React-based applications are client-side rendered. So meaning that they are rendered in the client side. If I open up a infographic, it's going to help out. So I'm just going to go here back into this. So in the in the React applications, what you used to do is you basically the user, the browser would pay a request to the server. The server would respond back with JSON, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS files, and you would get those files. But what you would do is that you would have to render them all yourself, and then you have to see the thing by yourself. So basically you're rendering on the client side. It's called client side rendering. This is in React, and it's also in Next.js. But Next.js provides one more feature, which is server side rendering. And server side rendering is that you don't request. You request the server the instructions that you need, right? But the server gives you the HTML, CSS already pre-rendered. You don't have to render the thing by yourself, but actually it renders it for you so that you just get a ready-made, rendered component, and you could just see it. So server is rendering it, and this is called server-side rendering. This is one of the biggest advantages of Next.js. Next.js allows you to, by default, everything in Next.js is server-side rendering, and you could change it to client-side rendering if your needs arises. And you might ask, when will the needs arise? Well, I'll tell you that server-side rendering is much faster. It's much better for SEO, search engine optimization. But you might not be always available. It might not always be working for you because when you want to use states, hooks, and other interactivity components, you would have to always do that through the client side, the browser side, or you would have to change it to the client side rendered. And I'll tell you the way to do that as well. So this is one key feature that I wanted to talk about. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is the so I just messed my drawing. So let's just see what happened here. Okay, this is really bad. I gotta go refresh this. Okay, there you go. Okay, the one other thing that, what is happening? Let me just refresh this page. Now we know that the first thing was rendering, right? What is the next biggest thing about Next.js? The next biggest thing is routing. So routing. So if you know, Caesar, you could throw in the chats what you know about routing, because Next.js is all about file-based routing. Okay, file-based routing meaning it's all based on files. In React, you know, you would have that React Router DOM thing that you'd have to install before, and then you know you'd have to do routing based on that dependency, that additional package that you used to install. But for Next.js is all built in, so it's file-based rendering and file-based routing, and you know it's based on your file system. So you know your folders and your inside your folders, whatever those folders are, they're basically routes, and that's how we access different routes. So it's amazing. Another really cool advantage. One other feature is API routes. So API routes, like I told you, that Next.js doesn't offer a complete server side. It's all serverless APIs. So API routes are serverless, so enabling the creation of serverless functions to handle API requests. You know, and you could create that using, you know, the route.js file within your folders. So don't worry if you don't understand any of this right now. I'm just gonna explain everything when we install our, you know, Next.js application. One other thing is, you know, it's really fast. I told you that before, that Next.js is really fast, and there's an improvement feature which is called HMR, and this is called hot modular loading, hot modular reloading, and basically it brings the application from initial 1.3 seconds, and it goes for a Next.js application to 131 milliseconds. So your original React application that used to run in 1.3 seconds have now converted to 131 milliseconds. Sorry about the bad writing, but this is 131. This is a huge difference. And then automatic code splitting is the other feature. So you know, it basically divides a website into chunks. So you'd have different chunks of JavaScript, and if you want to view the home, then that chunk is executed. If you want to use the about, that chunk is executed, and that is basically called code splitting, automatic code splitting feature in Next.js. Okay, so what I want to you know, just tell you guys is that I have one question. The server-side rendering, we could implement and any other framework like Flask or Ruby on Rails. Oh, you have a question, or you're telling this? The server-side rendering, we could implement any other framework like Rest. Because I'm not sure if you're asking this question or if you're telling me this, but you know, Next.js has this server-side rendering feature capability. I'm not sure about Ruby on Rails and Flask, but you know, you could tell me if you know about it. Throw in the chat what you know about that, and you know, this is the game changer. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna go to my Visual Studio Code, and hopefully we're gonna start now. So I created that share prompts, and we're going to create an application where basically you're going to use a CRUD-based application. You know, create, read, update, delete. This is one of the best applications to create as a beginner, because it just helps you understand how the entire application would work. You know, CRUD-based. So that's my recommendation for those people who are just starting out. So we'd go to the terminal. I press Control and backtick. This opens up my terminal, and to install a Next.js application, remember Next.js is a framework. It's still React, but you're basically using an extension of React. To create a Next.js application, we type in npx create -next -app, and then we have at latest, and then this means we're using the latest version of Next.js. And if we do // that means we want the Next.js application that will be created in our current folder, and that should be there. So now after that, you know, you'll see sometime it's saying over here you want to install the latest 13.5.43. This is the one that's happening right now in my recording, but you know, I said yes, and now I press Y and enter, and now it said, would you like to use TypeScript? We could use TypeScript for this, but let's do that in some other video or something in the future. But right now I'm just gonna say no. Would you like to use ESLint? This is a linting feature, you know, autocomplete, and you know, allows you to add code faster. So I'm just gonna say no right now. Tailwind CSS, we're gonna use Tailwind CSS because it's really awesome utility classes that provide custom styling. So I'm gonna say yes on that. The source directory, actually we don't need the source directory. We're just gonna say no there. And the app directory, app router, this is recommended, so just gonna go yes. And would you like to customize the default import alias? And we're gonna say no here. So now it's installing all the dependencies of React, React DOM, and Next. And it's also installing the dev dependencies, the auto prefixer, post CSS, and Tailwind CSS. And once it's done, you know, you'll see all of my files over here populated. But I'm just gonna wait, and I'm gonna see the chats for now. Any questions so far, Caesar? Or anyone in the live stream just joined in? I'm going to the questions. Feel free to ask anything you want. Okay, so Caesar seems like Is my internet working? I'm just checking internet speed test. Make sure that we don't have any issues during this live stream. Again, this is not going to be that extensive live stream, um, so chill around. Hopefully, I'm not going to have that much problems. So it's a little bit slow, but I think we could manage it. It's going a little faster, but yeah, I think it's okay. So Caesar's still there. Nothing happens like that. Any other questions? Any guys want to throw in the chat? Beats Larkson. Hi, I'm new. What do I need to know to move with this video? Now, Beats, if you're still in there, I want to let you know that this video is beginner friendly, so you don't need to know that much. You just need a little bit of understanding of React.js, of how it works. If you don't know how that works, so I'd recommend checking out a video on React, and that's also done on a live stream. If you go to the video section or the live section in the channel, you would see that there's this introductory React video. There's this one, which is build your first project like a pro. And then there's this building a React to-do list, building a dynamic weather app. And then there's an updated version. So, I mean, yeah, this was just random. And this was the real one. And then there was this MongoDB CRUD, this one. And I think this is the entire video that I would recommend. You'll understand all of the things that you need to know. So, this video, although doesn't have the things that I would show you, but if you go to the video section, and if you go to this video is the complete React.js, and you can see the live stream 1, live stream 2, and then you have to watch this one, and you would be completely well versed with how React works, MERN stack development, and I'll also tell you how to deploy this thing. So Beats there, you're still alive. That's great. So here's the live stream part 1 and part 2, and then make sure you watch this video, and then you would then be really good at understanding and for this live stream, when you're on this live stream, for everything what I'm saying right now will be so much easier, and it will just all make so much sense, and it's just all similar to React, so don't worry. And we know Caesar's there. Caesar's just gonna help us out. If I have any problems, Caesar, just let me know in the chats. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to have the CLS. You see that all of the dependencies were installed. We have this app folder, node modules folder, public folder. And the most important folder now is the app folder. And within this app folder, you'd see that there's the page.js, layout.js, and the globals.css. These are our major concern files right now. And I'm just going to open up the layout.js file for now. So if I go into the layout.js file, you could see that this basically is like my main entry point for the entire web application. You could see that over here we have some metadata. In the title it says create next app, and in the description it says generated by create next app. If I go to the okay, thank you, awesome, you're welcome. So you can see that there's this metadata, and I want to show you before going through this entry point of this web application. Like I said, that this layout is common for all the pages in the entire web application. So this is basically wrapped around with the children, and the children's over here. You could add in your component, let's suppose a footer or a header, and the header and footer will be displayed everywhere in your all routes. So this is like your main entry point, and it's common throughout your entire applications. So whatever you need common, just place it in this layout.js, and this will be implemented in every single page on your entire web application. I hope that made sense. If I go to the backtick terminal, and if I say npm run dev, okay, if I write this in, you could see that my next dev environment should be starting. So now you can see that there's localhost port 3000. If I click on this, so you could see that after some time, it opens up this page. This is the main page of the Next.js. So this is just the starter boilerplate. And if you want to see where the boilerplate is, I would recommend going and checking out the app folder. Remember, we're in the app folder, and there's this layout that I told you that's common throughout the entire. But where you saw that boilerplate is actually in the page.js, and you saw all of that, right? So this main method, this main tag, and the main tag closed all the way over here. But whatever's inside of this main tag, you're seeing inside of that, get started by editing. There's, what is this, an image of the Versa logo, and find in-depth information about Next.js features and API. And I'll say also subscribe to Coding Cleverly. Just support me. So if I write this in, it's in the page.js. You'll see this change in my boilerplate. If we go back here, So you can see over here in the docs, it says also subscribe to Coding Cleverly. So you must subscribe if you're not. So this is our, boilerplate. We could remove all of this boilerplate if we want. So let me just remove it up. So over here, I'm just going to get this div tag, go all the way on the top, let's say over here, and just remove it. And right, I just remove all of this. You see that I just left the main. So I just left the main right now. And if I go back here, you can see that everything is gone. And it's just a black screen. And if I remove this main and just type in, let's say, Coding Cleverly. Now, obviously, there's some problems. Why? I'll tell you the reason. We actually need to put JSX fragments first. And after that, we could type in anything we want. Now, if I type in Coding Cleverly and save it, you could see that it's appearing over here on my, application. So this is, generally just that, but you could just add in, an H1 tag, and now it would be a little bit different. So I'm just going to paste it here. Now, if I go here, now it's an H1 tag. So, that's the difference between this page.js file. This is that file, and this is the layout. I told you the entry point, and all of our components are going to be wrapped within the children tag. So, the components are in the children tag, and you could add in your header or footer as components in here. So, that's our layout.js. Talk about the now, one other thing I want to just mention about the layout, and then we could just move on to the next file, which is the globals. And I want to say that if you wanted to add something consistent across all your routes, let's suppose your nav bar, your footer, these are usually same everywhere, and maybe a Redux toolkit wrapper, you could place it in the layout.js file. So we're gonna do this when we're gonna create that application with Next.js. So that's just the thing I wanted to say. Now, now the page represents the home page of the Next.js application. This is just the home page. And if you go to, let's suppose, the local host port 3000. Yeah, so this is your home page. So that's what basically page.js is. It's your home page of the route, homepage route of your application. Now, globals.css contains all the styles that are being applied in your entire application. These are some common styles. You can remove them. There's some Tailwind components, things that are installed before so that you could use Tailwind classes. But by default, all components created in Next.js are within the app folder, and they're called React Server Components. Okay, now I want to show you one other thing. So if I go to the app, and you will see that there's this page layout, this globals.css and favicon. Now I could basically create a component here. Now I'm going to go and just simplify things. I'm going to create a folder here, and I'm going to call it components. Now remember, like, components are things that you could place on your code, and then you could just use them. So inside my component, let's just create a simple I don't know. Let's say header component. So over here, I'm going to say header. Created a file this time, and I typed in JSX. Now I'm going to use my extension rafc, and this gives us this. If I say header page, and you see this header, right? This is the component. But right now the component is not there. So right now you can't see the component. Where's the component going to be? You have to link it, and the way to link it is basically go to your page.js, right? And I would not prefer the the page.js, because this is your home app, where it's just slash. But when your routes are going to be different, so this is basically slash route. So localhost port 3000, your home page, right? So port 3000 slash. This is just your home page. But if you want to go to, let's suppose, another route, so I'm going to go and get this component, which is the header component, and put it within our layout.js file. So over here, what you do is essentially over here, you can see this HTML language is English. This is returning. And I told you that layout.js is common throughout your entire applications. So I'll just put the header, and you can see that now it tells me that there's a component called header. So I just click on that. You can see that import header from /components/header. Now you could just have this, and if I just save that, and if I go back to my application, right now you could see that nothing applied. But if I go to the header.js and add in something, let's suppose so h1 dot, I guess, this is a header. I don't know. 1 minute. H1 dot. Okay, that's just an extension to add a class name. We don't need that right now. So this is a header. Save. Okay, so you can see that 3 errors. What's happening? Hydration failed because the initial UI does not match what was rendered on the server. Expected server HTML to contain matching div in HTML. Now it's saying div HTML was required. Now what we can see is that there's this problem. So really great thing that React told us. We'll go back here. You can see that there's this slash page slash fast reloading, and I'm just gonna go back here. This is the header component. It's exported in the layout. It's like this, and what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna add it in here and see if it works over here. Maybe it's because I added it here, but don't worry, we'll fix this up as well. So I'm just gonna remove that, and I'm just gonna remove this as well. Okay, I think one thing that maybe could be a concern is that maybe we have to add it within the children. So this is your body, right? Your children, and inside this, on the top, you would have your header. Yep. So what we were doing is wrong is that, the children are going to be all of your, essential things like the coding cleverly, the homepage stuff. And now the header is on the top. Remember, this is nothing right now, but I added the component header. Now I want to add a footer component. So I'll just add in, go to the components, create another component over here called footer.jsx, and we'll just type in wrap-c. And over here, I'll just say, h1. This is a footer component. Now, recommended, all of these components by default are server-side components. And if you want to change them, I'll tell you how to change them in a second. So I'm going to the layout, and over here, I'm just going to type in my footer. So footer / enter. And you can see now it should enter your footer. It didn't add it. So what you could do is you could press in Control and space, and then just you see this and press enter. Now you can see that I don't know why I added 1R, but on the top you can see that the footer has been updated as well. So you can see the header is there, the footer is there, and then the main body content is going to be here throughout the entire application. So this is a header, this is a footer component, and then coding cleverly on there. So far, any questions? Let me know in the chats. I'm gonna drink some water. Thank you. I already did. Okay. What is the difference using source file? Remember in React we had that source directory, and I remember I recall that usually in the source directory there used to be images and other assets and other things that we wanted, but we don't want that, right? We don't need that right now at the moment. So I think that's why we don't need the source directory. But in case you wanted it, so you could just add it. It's just another load for the system. The .jsx is for React components, correct? It's the extension for React. If you want to type in any kind of React component, or you want to make it a React component, just use the .jsx extension. Or if you want to use a TypeScript extension, it's called .tsx. So that's for TypeScript. Sorry about that. It's not TSX. Or I believe it is. Let me just double check. So if I go here in the components and I just create a, let's say, I don't know why I'm adding, but I believe it is. Yeah, it's like this, TSX. This is for TypeScript. It's not even that different, honestly. There's just an extension to JavaScript. So don't get intimidated, and hopefully, if you give me, a permission, if you want, the demand is to create some kind of TypeScript project, then just let me know in my server, Discord server, and in the YouTube videos and I'll surely create, a live stream on TypeScript project as well. So just going to delete this sample.tsx and just remove it to recycle bin. We're okay for now. And this extension is for React components. Um, so we have some concurrent viewers, but we just have Beats and Caesars right now participating. Remember that whoever goes to the Discord server first and introduces themselves will get my free cheat sheets. I'm actually giving away some free cheat sheets. So I'm going to go to gumroad.com/codingcleverly, and I'm selling some amazing cheat sheets that are going to help you guys out. So for those of you who go to the server first, they could get a coupon and they could activate any of these cheat sheets for free. So you can see that there is some SQL, data science related, and machine learning related. So this is the website of the cheat sheets. But to get to that, what you would have to go is to the Discord server. I mean, Caesar knows all of this stuff, so sorry about just reiterating everything. But I just want to let you know that if you go to this Discord server, which is over here, and what you're going to do is first join this Discord server. So this is the invite people, and this is the link for the server. And if the first 5 people, let's say the first 5 people, would go, and first you have to go to the welcome page, and you're going to have to accept this. After that, you're going to go to the introduce yourself, and you have to introduce yourself and tell where you're from, what you are doing, and what you are learning. And after that, you will be qualified for the free cheat sheets. If you go to the links tab, so there's actually this place over here which is useful links or something. Yeah, useful resources, but these are just some extra things on my old live streams, but I think it's like the links. Yeah. So in the links, you could see, well, you might be asking, where's the, the cheat sheets. The cheat sheets are over here. You can see the Gumroad cheat sheets. So this amazing person, Sylvain, is one of our Patreons, patron, and he's a really awesome guy. He created this entire thing. So go to here, and you could find the cheat sheet code, and this is where you could get the cheat sheets. Other than that, if you really want to support coding cleverly, and want to continue making amazing live streams with me together, and learn web development and anything about technology, then definitely check out the Patreon page, and you will become one of my Patreon members, which have exclusive memberships and exclusive benefits. Only my Patreons get. You could become a backer, investor, or supporter, and there are some exclusive videos, and you will become one of my moderators for our Discord server and a lot of other benefits. So definitely check out my Discord server. You need to verify my mail. So this is my Patreon page. I don't know what you mean by mail, but once you join that, you should be there. If I go to the general, I think you're added. So we have just Heisenberg joined, and Hallen, or Halen. Now that we're there, sorry if I mispronounced that, but welcome to the server and do your guys' things. Let's go back to the Next.js project. Here we have our footer component. Here is our header component. And like I said, everything in the Next.js is server-side rendered. But what if I want to change it to client-based rendered? Like now, I tell one thing. Suppose if I'm import hooks. So if I say import hooks, so I say use state, I guess. I think it's like this: use state from, and then React. If I do something like this, so REACT. Now, if I say this, do you think my application would throw an error? Let's say, and it did. It says over here, you're importing a component that needs use state. It only works in the client component and does not, and none of its parents are marked with use client. So you're using server by default. Now this is just complaining that why did you use this use state? So I told you that client components were in MERN stack, React simple React applications, and they were by default client side. So in Next.js, everything is server side. For us to use hooks like use state, use effect, use reducer, all these amazing things and interactivity, like when we create let's say a button, and we want to use an on click or on a listener, something like that. This is interactivity. Would have to change our server side component to a client side component, and to do that, we have to use the use client directive. So if I type in up here use client and then press semicolon, my error will go away. So you can see now my error went away, and everything is working fine. So just a side note, I want to say that try to go for server-side components, and if ever you get an error or something, just change it to client, use client. This is just my rule of thumb, and your error should be gone. So that's just general, examples. And we're almost done with our live stream. Again, I'm not going to go too hard in this live stream. Just went over the basics. Okay, now one more thing I wanted to show you was the routing system. Now remember, like I said, if I wanted to create a route in now, one other thing before routes, I would say, is that state management in React is primarily handled on the client side. This is state management, use state, use effect. So if you're using any of the React hooks like use state, use effect, or use reducer, or any kind of interactivity like mouse click or anything like that, remember on click and on submit, or whatever these things I was talking about, you'd have to include the use client directive on the top, and that's your solution. Now, the routing system for Next.js is one of the awesome features, so I'm going to go over this quickly. Now, what we have is, suppose we wanted to go to, we just have this main, let me go back to the app, and we have this page.js. Now, this is just our home page, remember? HTTP colon 2 forward slashes, HTTP colon 2 forward slashes, localhost, and port 3000, right? That's just our home page. But what if I want to go /user, okay? If I want to go there or I want to go somewhere else, how do I do that? It is super easy in Next.js. All we got to do is let's collapse everything. Go to the app component, app folder, and in here, we just create another folder. We create a folder for the user component. So what we wanted to do is /user, right? Just create a user folder. And inside that user folder, you're going to create a page.js file. Now, this page.js file will be having the, wrath C. It's going to be a component, and this is the, the user, thing. So if I just make the convention proper, so just make all the caps. And over here, I'm just going to type in, so what I was thinking of like users page, right? So I could just type in h1 over here as well. This is the users page. We were back in the home page. Now this is the users page. Now this is a route. I want to go now from, if I go to the page.js. Now this is our, wait a minute. This is our home page. Let me just write in comments. So home page, the same local host, port 3000. But I can't go to the /user. I want to go to /user page. So let's just added this folder, which is the user folder, and inside we put it in page.js, which has this. This is the users page component. Also another server-side component. If I go now, it's just automatically going to do it for me because that's all we had to do. /user, and this is the users page, and you can see that the header and footer remain the same. Amazing stuff here, man. Now, this is routing in Next.js to another level. In React, we had to use React Router DOM. We had to install that separate package. We had to create the app.jsx file, and had to do all that import router folders, all of that stuff. But over here, we just create using folders and then a file inside for the page.js. Super simple. So if I wanted to create post for all, what I would do is, I would just create, more and more folders inside of it. So if I want to go, let's suppose, so if I say post page, let's go, I'll create another one component, and this is like, the posts. So I create post, and then I'll say a new post. I'm going to do all of this. This is called nested components. So I'm going to go to app. I'm going to create one folder over here. I'm going to call it post. Okay. And I'm going to create a page.js file in here. And this is going to be called Rapsy. And let's just keep it lowercase right now. I'm sorry about the conventions and all, but we'll just call this is the post page. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do now, if I go back here and instead of user, go to post, you can see this is the post page right here. But what if I want to go and create a new post? I would all I have to do is create another folder inside of this folder. So we have post, create another folder in the post, call it new. And in that new folder, we just create another page.js file. So it is so simple. And in here, what we're going to do is we're going to say wrap C, and we'll just say new post. So those people who want to create a new post on Twitter, Facebook, or something like that, just think of something like that. So slash post slash new, because it's now in a new folder, and this is our new post. So then we create another page inside of that using, this amazing feature. So let me know what you guys thought about this nested routing in Next.js. It's super simple, super intuitive. So that's pretty much that's what we have to do. Any questions so far? I'm going to stop for some questions, and then after that, I'm going to stop over here, drink a little water. Been talking a little long. And if you have any questions so far about this, let me know. And then I'm going to just, conclude it with dynamic routes, dynamic routing. What do you mean? The form, nested routing. Nested routing we just did, Beats. And the use state. What do you mean by the use state? The use state, remember, we can't use them in server-side components. We can only use them in client-side components. Example, when you try to do a form and save the information, how handle that? Oh, that's super simple. What you do is you would have to change your component to a use client component. You'd have to use the use client directive on the top. Remember just how we did over here, somewhere over here where we added the use client. I think it was in the header or something. So, we added the use client on the top, and then after that we could import our use state hook. We create our, the variables which are, the what is it called? States, use state. So state, set data, const data, whatever those use state data is. So I think it's like, why is it not giving me the boilerplate? But whatever, we are allowed to set state, use state, and then we could add it in our form, and then we could set the values of our form field to our different things, and that's all done in client side rendering. So you got to add it, and basically that's all done in client side. What is the convention for Next.js? What is the convention? What do you mean by convention? The convention meaning like how you name your files. Like the way I'm doing it right here, this is the complete convention, okay? So this is the convention where when you create a component, try to make it capitalized so that capital first letter, and then you could just see that. You can see over here, these are the conventions I'm following. Page.js, just correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just adding them lowercase right now because they're just routes. But if you guys see that I might be right or might be wrong, but for now these are the conventions I'm using, and they're working for me. So const usage set. Ah, yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Yep, const user set user and use state, and set a default value to the use state. You could put in some empty string or anything like that, and that's just going to set the state variable. Thank you so much, Caesar. Is it necessary to learn React before Next.js? Yeah, I said in the earlier during the start of the event that I said you should know a little bit of React because this is all React. So just go over what I said in the start. I said I actually sent some links. So this is the first part one of the complete MERN stack development. It's for beginners, so you would learn and master React, MERN stack, MongoDB, Node.js, Express, and all that. And go to the second part, and then there's a final part you will see on the channel. So try to watch these two. Join our Discord server. Ask your questions there, your progress. That really does help you out. This is your Discord server link. So join that. Introduce yourself there because I said I'm going to throw in some free cheat sheets for those of you who introduce themselves in the Introduce Yourself channel, first 5 people. And then after that, you will be super comfortable with this live stream that when you ever see this live stream in the future, you would have a great time and you would understand what's going on with Next.js. It's just a an advantage on top of React. It's just an extension of React. It's Next.js. It's just a framework. So that's pretty much it. X2. Um, yeah, X2. I don't know what that means, but uh, I think that's a good thing. Okay, so what we're gonna do here now is we're gonna create dynamic routes. Now, dynamic pages. What are dynamic pages? I think you've seen dynamic pages before. I'll show you how they look like. So if I go to this page, you can see this is a general page. Another page is over here. So how do I create dynamic routes? So you already know. Like, remember we had like post, right? Suppose there's a route that's posts, and you have this dynamic post ID. Whenever you create a new post, and it gives you an ID. So this is dynamic routes. So post slash, and I say slash, and I say blog post one. So not port, but post one. And then I create for two, and then I create for three. So this is dynamic, routing stuff. In in the React general React applications, it was just gonna get a little nested within the React Router DOM components, but those tags, not components, but the tags that you use. But in Next.js is also very simple. Let me just close all of these things and just make everything look more easier. Just save this as well. Okay, so now we're going to collapse this back again. We're going to go to the app. I told you now we're going to create a route first where all the posts are, and then we're going to try to create a dynamic route. So how do we create this? So let's go here into our app. Let's create a post. So let's say posts, okay? And over here, we're going to create a page.js, which are a route. RAFC, you might be asking, well, how am I getting this? For those of you who are new in my live streams, go and type in E7 plus. I don't know what is it. It's some kind of extension. I haven't installed. Figma, Pylance, Prettier. It's a pretty common extension. Whatever it is, ECMAScript, Redux, yeah, Redux. I don't know if it comes. Yeah, ES7. There you go. This is the extension that is super awesome. So install this. I don't know why it wasn't installed, but this is the extension I'm using so that I'm using that RAPC and everything like that. Okay, so over here it just writes my boilerplate for me. Over here, what I want to do is I want to change this to a component. So how do I do this? It's super simple. Go to the page.js and I want to create post, right? And I'll say posts over here. Now, if I go back to the folder over here in this, you can see there's new post, but I'm going to the post URL. So we're going to go posts. Okay. So we're going to post, and you can see there's this post, right? The header and the components are completely the same because I set them in my, the layout over there. So that's why they're not changing. And that's one beauty of that we used. Now inside here, remember I said I want to create dynamic routes. So how do I do the post ID, 1, 2, 3? So what you're going to do is you're essentially going to create a folder in here. And if I go here, so there's this post, right? We're going to create a folder within this post, and we're going to call it like this. So let's just create a new post. So what I'm essentially going to do is like this. I'm going to show you what I'm trying to do. Localhost port 3000 / posts, view all the posts, then new to create a new post, and then post ID. Should I do something like this? Or I think it's better to just have it like this. So posts and then post ID. So I'm going to have something like this, okay? So right now we're in post. We already did post. This, component does all of that trick. But what we wanted that post ID dynamic. So 1 or 2 or 3 whenever you create something. To do that, you would basically be inside of your, I'm not creating a new folder. I'm just going to delete this again. So I'm just going to delete. We're in our post folder. Again, back in the, starting, where we created a post, we created this. Now we're going to create a new folder here, and we're going to call this with our, square brackets, and we're going to type in post ID like this. Okay, post ID with the square brackets. This is going to allow us to do dynamic ID. And inside of this, what we're going to do is we're going to add in page.js. Okay. And over here, I'm going to use raf-c. And essentially, um, we're going to add in a div here. And over here, I'm just going to type in the post ID like this. And this is our dynamic route. All of it is cleared. If I go back and post, I don't know, post one. So right now, obviously, nothing is defined. Post ID is not defined. And we have to define it so that we could use it. But this is how we actually use the thing. So post ID and post ID should be there as well. So, that's how things are started. If you guys have any questions so far in this live stream, I'm almost concluding it. Just let me know in the chats. Do check this Patreon page. This is super important. If you want to support your Coding Cleverly, want to activate all of these amazing live streams, want to get some free cheat sheets, want to become a part of being a moderator on the Discord server, and also getting my personal contact number if you have any projects or coding problems or anything that you're doing and you want some mentorship or help. I could provide you live sessions by activating my backer investor tier. So definitely check out this Patreon page. I'm linking the page here on the live stream over here. Check out the other things as well, and we could meet in the Discord server. So I'm just stopping by. Go say hi and hello, and I'll check whoever introduced themselves first, so that I could give my cheat sheets away for free. First 5 people, remember. So we could see over here, we have some people that have just joined in. So remember, you have to just join in the Discord server and announce yourself here in the introduce yourself. Okay, so we got Heisenberg. So that's the first one. Congrats. And the next 4 more people, whoever messages, will get the free cheat sheets. Have a great day, guys. That's it for now. And hopefully we'll do some more live streams. And just let me know what you want in the next one. Hopefully we'll just try to create our complete, Next.js full stack application, CRUD based. So we will do definitely that. And I'll see you guys soon. Okay? Peace out. Have a great day.